Good morning, all. It is Friday the 25th. I'm back from Utah. It was actually a really good trip. Very heavy, high concentration in a room with some amazing people. If you're on my Instagram, I'm going to put it out probably in the other ones, right? The other socials. I have somebody to handle that for me. I had an awesome time to meet some really awesome people. One of the really cool ones is, I don't know if you know who Robert Allen is, but he's like the guy who got it all started, no money down investment real estate kind of thing. The guy is like the original badass, right? He was there to speak to us, a lot of great information. He and I got pictures with him with my books. I was able to get him some, holding his book. And, I'm working on some collaboration with the man. We'll see what happens. We'll see if this braided, bearded redneck here can pull something off, but awesome event. So if you're a person that's not getting out there and getting in places where there's other business leaders, other people that are going to challenge your mind, finding yourself in a room when you kind of feel a little bit like the guy who doesn't belong there, but you're gathering data. If you're not doing that kind of thing, I would encourage you to start finding a path to do that. Go to a place where you're uncomfortable, where there's people offering information that's going to challenge how you do what you do. And force you to seek ways to make yourself better. Because if you're sitting stagnant, you're actually going backwards because the world is passing you, right? So a lot of the times I'll answer a phone call when somebody calls me, and I'll just, to see how I'm doing. I say, I'm just trying to stay out in front of that Bigfoot, just trying to kick my ass every day. And it's the truth. Every single one of us is going to get our ass kicked every single day in some form or another. And what's funny is a lot of the ass whooping we get is from ourselves. Now, you're going to get your butt kicked. It's going to happen. That foot's going to catch you someday, and you're going to get propelled forward. Now, the key to getting ahead is getting up off your ass and still moving, because what you'll find when it hits you and propels you, you may hit the ground and roll, but if you get back and keep running, you are now further ahead. That's something we learn about mistakes. Some people say that the only thing that matters is winning. They apparently haven't lost enough to understand that you learn more in your losses than you ever do in your wins. I can hardly remember the stuff that I really kicked ass and did like the number one at, but I do remember the beatings. I remember them very well. So if you're not in a world where you're getting your ass kicked all the time, you're not trying. Unfortunately, you got to get out there and get the shit kicked out of you pretty consistently for you to be able to excel. Now let's talk about the guys who get that Bigfoot catches them, right? My opinion, Aaron Chapman's opinion, the Bigfoot wakes up every day at 7:30. That's why I'm up at 4:30. I've already got to outrun that thing before it starts kicking me, right? Well, those who get kicked early and continue to get kicked, and they just lay there and take the beating, the world's passing you. Everybody's going past you, and you're not going to be able to catch up. You got to keep moving. So I'll get off my soapbox here. Let's talk about the market and what's going on out there. We have a little bit better day today than I thought we were going to have as far as the mortgage-backed securities is concerned. Just because I'm looking at at these bonds, and I'm seeing. In fact, let me get to I got to get to the one that shows us today's. Sorry about this one. I have several charts up right now. So looking at this here, what we're looking at is we've got, you can see where we've got an interesting crossover. So this is the 2.0, I believe, is when we're looking at. This is more for your owner-occupied type deals. So what we have is an interesting crossover that's happening here with this 100-day moving average, and it's meeting up with the 50-day moving average. They're intersecting, right? That's commonly called the death cross, if you will. When those intersect like that, a longer term average is now intersecting and possibly going below a shorter term average. That can be very detrimental technically, right? So when we're talking about the technicalities, when we're talking about these charts, these are the mortgage-backed securities charts. You can go to, mortgagenewsdaily.com and take a look at these charts. This is the specific one, I believe. Let me take a look, see if I can figure it out. Is the 2.0 coupon, if I am correct, the 2% coupon. So with this particular one, what it does is when a person invests their money into this pool of funds, right? You invest into any pool of funds, whether it be a ETF or whatever, you're going to invest in something, right? When you invest in this particular security, this mortgage-backed securities pool, you will get a 2% return on your investment. Now, they're going to add a margin to that, and that's where they're going to charge that interest to whoever borrows that money, so they can pay all the people in the middle that are working on that, servicing it, taking care of that loan, ensuring that things are done on it, because nobody's doing that for free. And then the person who put the money up gets their 2%. Now, every day, what we're seeing here, every single one of these is what's called a candlestick. This right here will tell you every single day it gives you the trading on this day. So what you'll have, let's just say on this particular red one, the day started up here at 103.35. And then it traded as high as this point here, which is 103.41, and then it lost steam and it dropped. And it dropped as low as 102.72, and it settled at 102.77. That's a big gap, right? So you're 103.35 where it started, ended at 102.77. So you can see we're somewhere in the range of about 50 basis points as that movement. So what does that mean to you as the consumer or real estate investor? You're not consumers anymore. It means that if you would have priced this loan out to, let's say right here, one day, right? And let's say you got a certain interest rate at 0 points. That means the next day, by the end of all this trading, that same rate would be available to you at a 0.5 point, 50 basis points, because it moved 50 basis points, which is 0.5%. 50 basis points on a so 1% is 100 basis points is what that is. That's the number that we use, because when you're going into percentages, if it's 1%, we're breaking that percentage down into 100. So that's what we call it a basis point. So this is 50 basis points or 0.5%. So here, the next day, we opened up down here at 102.87. So if it's green, it means you started at the lower point, end at the lower point, at the higher point. If it's red, you start at the higher point, end at the lower point. So green, we start at 102.85. So it opened in trading at a better position, higher bids, and probably some overnight trading had set some things up where people were buying into it early. So you're there, and then it traded as low as 102.76. And mainly what happens here, the reason why that would be, if it opened here, but yesterday closed here, they want to close that gap. So it's where these trades pretty much close that gap. It always happens that direction. And if there's never a gap closing, something's going to happen down the road to change things, to make sure that gap does close. So then it's going to open here, and it closed at 103.06. So we opened a 103.85. So 103, then it went to 103.07-ish, basically. So we're talking about somewhere in the range of about 15 to 20 basis points. You might see an 1/8% improvement, maybe 1/4% improvement in that cost. So it would have cost you 0.5 point over here, because you're down this far, and it comes up. That's about halfway. You're going to get about 1/4% better in that cost. So it'd be the same rate as this day here. Day 2, it's going to cost you 0.5% at that rate. Day 3, you're going to only be charged 1/4 for that rate. Now it's continued to crawl back. I think at this point you'd be charged maybe 1/8 for that same rate until you got back up to that same spot. So you can see if you're pricing way back here, how that would move it. So that's how you kind of understand how the mortgage-backed securities work. There's other trend lines and things in here that take a lot longer to explain, stochastic charts, a lot of other things that we look at from a technical level. So in speaking to, with respect to what we've got happening here as far as the market and what's driving it. So right now we have, stocks are a little bit higher this morning. And what's interesting is the S&P is setting another record high. And even the mortgage bonds are a little bit better than they were yesterday. Yesterday there was a little bit of hit that was going on with it. It was taking a bit of a beating. Today's a little bit better because we have the PCE report that came out today. The personal consumption expenditures report came out, right? So yesterday we had also some good information that came out yesterday, which I think helped bleed you over in today, which is the durable orders information. Durable orders stats came out showing that it was much weaker than as anticipated, as well as jobless claims were actually higher than anticipated. So when you start looking at those things, it shows that the fragility of the economy, and that's not steaming ahead like they think. Now, durable orders meaning there was fewer durable orders than what were placed before, but we're also seeing that when you're looking at the PCE report today, the personal consumption expenditures report, you start seeing that it was also higher than expected, right? So it means that, it was lower than expected. They expected to be much higher. They expected a move of 0.6 as far as percent up, and it was actually only 0.4. So in our world, that means inflation went up 0.4%. It's continued to climb up nearly 0.5%. If that's happening that often, inflation is pretty damn hot. But since the market was expecting to be higher than that and it's lower, they got excited. Oh, let's go get back into the bond thing. We still have inflation going up. So then you see the durable orders report, which shows that people are not opening up their wallet and buying big ticket items. It's because inflation's going up. Those costs are so much higher. They're going to find a way to make what they have work. if they need to try and band-aid a problem, like be one of the new washers and dryers or whatever durable good, they're going to either band-aid it, or they're going to decide whether they really even need it. Some people are buying stuff just to buy it and have it and say, I own it. All right. So when you think about that, the economy doesn't showing the strength. So, and because of that, we've got a little bit of positive activity in mortgage-backed securities today. So those are just kind of some things to throw out there. One, get yourself in a room you're uncomfortable, get around people you're somewhat uncomfortable around. If you want to become more successful in what it is that you do, find people that are successful at what you do and get around it and learn how they do it, and then stretch and do things that hurt to accomplish that. And you'll be amazed at how you'll get there. And then it'll be just really comfortable spot. You're like, this is really not so insurmountable. Now I got to go to the next leap and the next leap, and then, go subscribe here on the channel. Hit the alert button, hit the like button, give me some comments. We want to continue to give you good information. Go to the website, quitjerkingoff.com. Go in there, go to that YouTube channel, youtube.com/ you got to do the / thing, quit jerking off, subscribe there. We're going to be getting some more good data going out there. We've got some things we kind of slowed down the production, but there's not a lot of people watching it anyway. So it's not like you're going to see anything you haven't seen before. Well, actually, you're not going to see, let me rephrase that. It's not like you're going to see something that you did see before. There's probably new content to a lot of you on there, because we're only reaching so far at the moment. We're still working on refining that, because we're all just a bunch of old dudes that don't understand how this newfangled internet crap works. So appreciate you guys watching. Shoot me some comments, shoot me some requests on what we should probably be touching on a little bit more. Continue to get into the market. I'm going to have something cool coming up for you in the near future with respect to where we sit with Operation Underground Railroad. Thank you guys. Talk to you again real soon.